do you go by the name Craig?
Yep. KREGG.
That's brilliant. I love that. Where did you get the name from? Is that your actual name? Or?
Yeah, so my real name is Craig, CRAIG. And
Ah,
then my producer and the guy I make music with, he suggested that because I it was originally a different band name, and then he suggested that I just change it to Craig and then spelled it that way. And so he kind of came up with that, and I just ran with it. So yeah.
fair enough. Fair enough. I do like it. Would you be able to give us a bit of background about yourself? I know you've sent me quite a bit of background about yourself, but it'd be nice for you to tell it from yourself.
Yeah, so I was in a band called All Rights Reserved Band for a while, and we kind of went our separate ways, and I just continued to make music, and so I started a solo project last year and released my first single in January this year. Um, I live in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, USA. Originally from the state of Montana, a cold state up north. I've been here for a while. I like the warmth, so
Yeah, fair
yeah.
enough. Okay, cool. So your last band, like, without going into too many specifics, what happened? How did it break down?
Um, I don't know. Artistic differences, just people. Um, I don't know. Kind of, we just went our separate ways. I guess like a couple guys wanted to go a different direction, and
Yeah, fair
um,
enough. Do what most bands
yeah,
saying goes down to creative differences in a lot of things, doesn't it?
yeah,
Um,
I would say that.
but I mean, myself included, I prefer doing things solo. I don't know. I like to have creative control over my things. Did you feel the same going solo, or was it more like maybe out of just necessity? It was easier to do.
It's part of that. Yeah, because I'm the main writer, so um, I like having that creative control. But I work with a guy, my producer, and he also has input too. So I mean, ultimately, I think it's what's best for the song.
Yeah.
Um, whatever fits the song, and if somebody has an idea that fits the song, great. Um,
Yeah. So
but
you're
yeah,
not
having that
really
creative control is nice.
yeah. So yeah, you're not really you say you've gone solo, but you work with a lot of people anyway. So it's not
Yeah,
exactly
yeah,
solo
like it's
solo.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
it
so I'll start playing shows as soon as we release the album
yeah.
this year. And so we'll be touring locally, like in the Southwest USA. And then I have a backing band for that. So, uh, but yeah, as far as the writing and the production part, it's mostly me and then my producer. Um, and yeah, that's how that works.
Fantastic. If we could go a bit further back to get to know like where you came from and what first got you into music and who inspired you, would we be able to get a bit of background in that sense?
Yeah, so I started playing music at a pretty early age. My dad played guitar, and he was like in bands when he was younger and stuff. So um, that's what drew me into playing guitar. Um, I think it was a birthday present my freshman year in high school or something. Was I think it was my freshman year. My dad gave me a guitar, and so that's when I started picking it up. And previously I had played like instruments in band, like school band,
Yeah,
the saxophone. Um, but that's when I started playing guitar, and that my dad really inspired me to do that. And his side of the family's pretty musical. His dad played a banjo, and his brothers played guitar and sang and stuff. So at our family reunions, they'd be jamming and singing and stuff, and us kids would join in. So we kind of that's how we really got introduced to live music. Um,
yeah,
and so yeah, that's where that came from.
fantastic. Yeah, it sounds like quite a sort of multi-musical instrumental family background. Um, I was quite surprised to hear how kind of late into your life you got into guitar. But then when you said that you had all these other musical influences, it kind of made sense. So
Yeah.
who was your main inspiration? If we're talking maybe bands or even just people that you've grown up with, who inspired you to maybe get into music?
Bands I would say like the Beatles and Nirvana
Yeah.
are probably my two biggest artists that I listened to the most when I was youngest, and that inspired me to want to play.
Yeah. I mean, I can definitely hear maybe some influence of Nirvana, kind of a grungy tone on the way down that I felt
Yeah,
when I listened to it. So I can feel the inspiration from that. Maybe not so much the Beatles, but I think everyone, myself included, Beatles are just always a great source of inspiration, aren't they?
right. Like
Um,
they made so many great songs. It's
yeah,
unreal.
you can just pick like from their bag of music, and anything's inspiring, isn't it? So is that typically the music you create? We've only got one song from you so far, and I know you're working up to releasing an album. Is that typically the music we're going to expect, or is there going to be a range? How's it going to work?
There's some variants. Like I've got like a funky song that's gonna be on the album. There'll be one song that's acoustic and piano, like mainly acoustic and piano. So
Yeah,
there is a range. But I guess it would fall in under that alternative genre.
yeah,
And there are some songs similar to Way Down that are on the heavy side. Um,
nice.
but there will be a degree of variance for
Yeah.
sure.
It's nice to kind of stay within a box, but explore kind of all aspects of that when you're creating a project, isn't it? So that it doesn't feel stale and it still feels fresh throughout. So that's nice to hear. So you kind of have this sort of powerful um grungy alternative rock feel to Way Down. Um I'm surprised by like the person you are, and that kind of you seem quite calm and well put together, quite quiet. To hear how powerful you sound on that record, who I pictured in my head was very different to who I met. It's always the case, isn't it, when you listen
Right?
to
I know
music?
it's weird like that for sure.
So would you put that down to maybe your years of being in the band and being able to kind of shout and you be in a loud space? I do find with people who enjoy making rock music but are solo and tend to record at home, maybe don't always show that same power and energy that you would get from being in a room with a band. So do you feel that's helped you in any way?
Um, I'm not sure about that. I mean, it's possible. It's just different. Like when I get a guitar in my hand and I start singing in the mic, like really the focus is on the music and like, you know, making sure I'm singing good, like hitting
Yeah.
the right notes, being consistent with that and then playing well and just focusing on that kind of you kind of forget all the outside noise and then I think it just comes out.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
I don't know if that
you
makes
must have
sense, but
it definitely does. I mean, you must have the confidence to be able to get in that zone and do it, because I think if you start second guessing yourself and doubting yourself, you can come out across very differently vocally. So um I could feel the passion and the drive in the vocals there on Way Down. So that let's get into Way Down a little bit more. What was the creative process like when it came to making that? How did it start off? How did it end up where it was?
it just started off at night. I just picked up my acoustic and just like, oh, I'm gonna play what I feel right now, and then just I started playing the verse, and then like what like just kind of like chorus just came like naturally after that,
Yeah.
and then I brought it to the studio the next day. Whenever I had the next session, I brought it to my friend, and I was like, "Hey, check this out," and he's like, "Yeah, I like that. We should work on that." So
Yeah.
um, he came up with a couple parts for it, and then in the studio, I came up with another couple parts, and we wrote the lyrics, and then the lyrics were already sort of half rewritten when I brought
Yeah.
it to him. And then yeah, we just worked on that, and then um, we brought in a session drummer, And at that point, we had a number of the songs from the album like roughed in basically.
Yeah,
And then he laid down the drums for all the songs, and then we ended up finishing off that song and releasing it. Um, so it was a collaborative effort, and yeah, we were happy. We were pleased with how it came out.
fantastic. And if there's a background maybe for the lyrics, um, is there a background for the lyrics, or is it more just like a feeling?
I would say it's more of a feeling. Lyrics it can be tricky because everybody has their own life experiences, and so like I think different people take away different things from a song.
Yeah.
Um,
So I know it says
and their own interpretation. So it's whatever the listener interprets it to be, I guess.
yeah, I was
That's
about to say
what.
what I got from it, and hearing way down, um, I did initially when I first heard it sung. Obviously, I knew what the title was, WAY, but I felt like it also sounded like being weighed down. So I felt like almost had a feeling of like something was holding you down. So that's what I took
Yeah,
from those lyrics. So yeah, I was kind of like I did what that was one of the bigger questions I wanted to ask, like, what does it mean? What's it about? But it's kind of good that it's more metaphorical. You take what you want from it.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think it's cool to have like ambiguity
Yeah.
in lyrics, so people can kind of draw their own interpretation.
Yeah, definitely. So this album you're working up to, um, does it have a name?
Um,
You're allowed to say yeah.
no, it. I mean, tentatively, but not. I'm not set on the name yet.
Okay. So you got a few names. So is there any kind of overarching theme for the album, like conceptual wise, or is there any lyrical themes, or is it more just kind of like way down, more just going with feelings at the time?
Yeah, just feelings at the time, just one song at a time. There's no concept. There's not like a running theme
Yeah,
throughout. Um, it's just a variety of songs.
lovely.
Some of my, well, in my opinion, some of my best songs, a variety of those, and
I love that. And I
yeah,
think like anyone I speak to when they're releasing like their latest album, like these are my favorite songs. It always is the way with artists, isn't it? And then you make a new batch of favorite songs. Um, have you got a favorite song at the moment in the running up to this? Because I think you said you've got six, if I'm remembering correctly, six-ish. You've probably got more by now.
so there'll be 10 songs on the album, and then I'm doing another six later this year.
Yeah,
So I'll be releasing 16 total songs this year.
that's right. I'm just looking at it now. You've got 10-song album, plans to record six additional songs with two producers in LA and Nashville. Yeah, that's
Yep.
right. So uh that's plenty to be getting on with, really. Is there a favorite from all of those that you're currently working on?
Yeah, I would say so. I'd say I have my favorite.
So you're not really saying any names yet?
No, not yet.
So if you could give people a reason to listen to Way Down, what would you say is a good reason to go and click on the link in the description and go and listen to your music?
Well, if you like alternative rock on the heavier side, then I suggest listening to it. I think it's a good song. Um, I think you can like feel emotion from the song. So yeah, I think it's worth giving a listen for that reason.
I always love asking that question because it's such a difficult one to kind of answer. Um,
It's a tough one to
it
answer.
is. And maybe if this next one's a bit harder as well, if you could give people a reason to listen to your album when it comes out, what's going to make it unique from all the other alternative rock music that is out there?
Um, it'll be. I mean, it's similar to other music out there, but I'd say my voice is different. Um, that's one thing that makes it pretty unique is uh my voice I think is identifiable. Like
Mm,
there's not a lot of people that sound like me really. Um, and it's gonna be have its own unique songs that draw their own feelings.
yeah.
So yeah, I would definitely give it a listen.
I like how you talked about a unique voice. I keep on mentioning grunge, and it's not really grunge music. Um, but the way your voice comes across is quite grungy at the time. At times, it reminded me a bit of that kind of like I don't know how to describe it, like kind of feeling that you get from like grunge singers, but still keeping the power behind it. So I really enjoyed that, and I think you do have a unique voice, which is very helpful, especially when you're going solo to have that kind of identifiable voice. Um, so you
Yeah, some
mentioned
people may not like it. I mean, just like everything, everybody has their own taste. So some people really like my voice, some others don't. It's just like it's
that's
everybody's different. So
that's just music, isn't it? I
yeah,
mean, you got to fight with that your whole life, really being a musician. But yeah, you mentioned that you're going to be performing your music. So you performed in the past, being in the band, obviously. Have you performed any solo stuff yet?
no, not with this project. I have not played these songs
Hmm.
live. I mean, I've done plenty of like solo acoustic shows and little sets and stuff in my life, but I have not performed any of these songs yet.
Yeah. Are you hoping? Oh, well, you're hoping to do that, aren't you? How do you feel they're going to go? Are you excited for that?
Oh yeah, yeah, it's fun.
Oh,
Um,
good. Brilliant. It can be quite unnerving releasing, all your solo stuff to the world and doing things on your own. So I'm glad that you sound excited for that. That's really, really good.
yeah, and I won't be by myself on stage. Like, I'll be jamming with other people,
Oh yeah. Of
so
course,
it's
of course
it's
you'll have
good.
like your backing band and stuff like that. That sounds great. So I always ask this question to every artist I interview, and it's how do you feel the internet has impacted your approach to being an artist? Because we've seen a shift, especially over the past, I'd say 8 years or so. Things are very different now, being an artist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. It's I was reading an article the other day that I think 50% of the downloads and streams were from independent artists in 2023.
Wow.
So that being said, I I think it's a lot easier now for people to get their music out without having a huge backing. Obviously, there are things you have to do, put in hard work, and there are some expenses to get your music out there to market it. But I think the access is now easier for independent artists.
Yeah.
So in that respect, it's good. Um, I mean, everything has the pros and cons. But just having that access, I think, is really good for artists to be able to just get their stuff out there. But like I've had some interest from two labels, and I've decided I just want to stay independent because then I have the creative control.
Yeah.
And if I can do it independently, like why not? I mean, I get to keep 100% of the proceeds rather than 10% or whatever. I mean, so
Yeah.
in
I've
that
seen
aspect, it's helped artists.
I've seen from a lot of artists these days that there's especially well those who have been on record labels saying that they don't see as much of a point in a record label as they used to be. Because they're very highly focused on just creating social media content anyway. And you
Right.
kind of have to do that yourself. So they were mainly just paying for the recording aspect and then leaving it to the artist. So in a lot of ways, it is better. I always love asking that question because I do get some people saying it feels very oversaturated and now in some ways harder to be heard. Especially when I speak to older bands who used to go via like CD route and things like
Sure.
that, who were signed to labels were now like, oh, it's so much harder to be heard now. So
Yeah.
it's good that you've got this like positive kind of view on being able to get your music out there and
Yeah, and I
accessible.
think I mean times are going to change, so I think it's important that people adapt to those times. I mean, there's some things that are out of your control, so you just have to adapt, and
Yeah. There'd be
that's
no
that.
point sitting around complaining about it because the ones complaining about it, they're not going anywhere with it. And you're definitely going somewhere with it, which is fantastic. and you seem to have
Thank you.
oodles of confidence. So amazing, and the song's great. So I think it's all going to go well. So next for you is album release, and then some gigs.
Album release and gigs.
Very nice.
And
So
we just
when
shot a video for Way Down.
nice.
Well, we're finishing that up this weekend. One more shoot day, and then we'll be releasing that shortly. Turned out pretty cool. So
Ooh, very nice. You'll have to send it my way. Make sure you do. Maybe I'll
will
do a
do.
reaction. Maybe I'll react to it. We'll see. um, also, I just wanted to ask. I've almost forgotten. No, yeah. Do you have a date for when the album's releasing at all? Can you reveal?
Not. It's gonna be in this summer. Don't have an exact date yet, but I'll know soon.
You're too shut down. You're not giving me anything to work with. You're doing very, very well. Very, very well. So yeah. Thank you. So guys, make sure to check out KREGG's music, Way Down. His single is out now. Go and check it. I've got it linked in the description. And thank you, KREGG, for coming on. It was lovely to talk to you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Take care.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, ladies and gentlemen.
So do you really want to fly higher than the sky? So do you really want to fly higher than the sky?
Hey, join the members club. You get like perks and stuff, and it's fun. So yeah, go on my channel and click on the member bit or the join page or something. It doesn't work on iPhone for some reason. I don't know. Bye.